cloud has been a great part in the automation technologies. We have a lot of customers coming to us. They want their devices to be connected. All right. These devices are connected beyond the control room, which means to say some of these devices could be outside of the plant, some of it could be the mobile asset, some of it could be the sensors that they deploy on the distribution network, like a pipeline, like a transmissions or distributions, power, and so on and so forth. So they want to be able to pick up the data. So connectivity is a key. The second thing that is a key is about analytics. So once the data has been acquired, they need to have an efficient way to store the data, to analyze the data, and to drive the action. So from all this data, the analysis, they want to be able to drive the actions. So from the action driving, so they want to be able to make a decision, all right? The decision that may impact on the operations. So all this, they will need to have a cloud to manage the storage of the data in a big data analytics way, and to have the applications that the backend services install in the cloud to do the centralized processing of all this data, and to have the communication or the notification network to be able to drive the informations into the mobile devices of the users. So cloud will play a lot of impact on creating a solution like this.
Yeah, I agree. I think the data acquisition portion is at this point already taken for granted. It's not what brings differentiator and more value to the customer. The key value is transform this raw data into meaningful information to the user and bring this information accessible to the user on different types of devices in different geographic locations and allow collaboration in real time.
I think there's other aspects of the overall life cycle of overall life cycle of industrial systems where they do have a nonlinear demand for resourcing, and that's where cloud is great, when you need to spin up more resources on demand. And so in those cases where you're looking to either design systems, test systems, manipulate, change those systems, run them back into production, often that requires access to much more resources than most customers have on hands. Most system integrators don't have these resources on hands either. So cloud can help them in other aspects, not just in the use aspect, as what GK and Fabio were referring to, but also in the aspect of how they build, test, design, and maintain those systems. And
reliability, disaster recovery,
yes.
Tools that are very important, but in many cases, the users, the system integrators didn't have the expertise or the budget to implement, and in the cloud it becomes feasible.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we have a lot of our customers, they no longer operate just from a control room. So we have customers that, their plants is spread across geographical area, widespread geographical areas. So they need the clouds to be able to centralize all this data from all the different plants across the different regions. And they need to be able to compare the KPIs, the performance across all these plants. So from all these different locations to do the contextualizations, like what John has mentioned, to do the comparisons of the performance. So without the cloud, without the good deployments on all these systems into the cloud, we will not be able to do all these things.
And I think a concept is important, especially in our market, is that when you say cloud, many people think of public, so the information is available to everybody. And when you talk cloud, you're talking more about the concept of having a scalable cluster of hardware that is able to process data in a scalable manner, not necessarily make this information publicly available. So there are many different configurations, private cloud and public cloud. And when we talk about cloud, we are talking about take advantage of the architecture, not necessarily make this information available publicly.
Yeah. So it's really, it's really an extension of your on-premises data center or equipment that you have, networks, to an off-prem location, which is still private to you. But the tools that we are providing to it are, for example, analytics. So you can see context between your data and make sense out of the data that is presented to you, in the sense of the new products that we have around Insight and stuff like that. So we have a lot of effort going on presenting the right context around the data gathering.
And that will require a good platform for scalability, right?
Yep.